As long as the three wheels are narrating this dream, there's no limit to what we all can achieve. Welcome to the Three Wheels of Wrestling podcast. Willie Tiny, without the real, and LA, Willie recapping the aftermath to the mic, through the ropes, from the mat. No regrets from this shadow zone. There's no match for this podcast. Let's get ready to rumble. Let's get it on. Let's get ready to rumble. Let's get it on. Let's get ready to rumble. Let's get it on. Let's get ready to fight. This is a war machine. Through sweat and tears we chase the unseen. Harness the rage in this gritty scene. Your fists are your words, your actions keen. Rips up from the hearts ablaze with fear. Breaking the chains that brought us here. Podcast warrior, so we're alive. Three wheels cutting through legends to ride. Stand tall as the world trembles. Unlock the dreams that no one can dissemble.
Welcome to Three Wheels of Wrestling Podcast. Yes, another wrestling podcast. I am Willie Tiny, and my hosts today are Will the Thrill and LA Willie.
Yeah.
And we got from the world famous Monster Factory with us tonight. We have the one they call Twitch. Twitch, how you doing?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Nice to have
Hey,
you.
Twitch made the music video into the intro.
So how long have you... He was on the side there.
Yes, he was. I wanted
So
to
how
point
long
that
have
out.
you been at the
He was
Monster
on there.
Factory?
I've been at the Monster Factory. I've been at the Monster Factory about
How
as long
long
as
have
I've been
you been
at
at-
wrestling. I've been there for about almost
Right.
10 years. I started in July of 2015, July 6th, 2015.
Nice.
And who all have you worked with over the years?
Oh, I've worked with a good amount of people. I think my first match was on a Saturday show. My first match was myself and QT Marshall, who was my surprise tag partner. We wrestled the Iron City Icons out of Pittsburgh, which were Chris LaRusso and Jack Pollock. And then, oh my God, I wrestled Nick Westgate, who was a wrestler up in Massachusetts. He's now since retired. I wrestled Congo. I wrestled. I was in a tag match against Josh with. I tagged with Bill Wiles against Josh Briggs of NXT. This is a long time ago. You know, when he had long hair and everything. I got to work with Cheeseburger. That was pretty. That was a great match. Crowbar. I mean, it would take too long to name everyone that I've worked with. The fact that I've been able to work with so many talented wrestlers is just. It's an honor and a privilege.
And who was your favorite talent to work with?
Great.
I think I can't just pick one favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite matches I've had at the Monster Factory have definitely been the one where I got to tell like where we got to wrestle multiple times and tell like a longer story. So working with Max Sterling it's always just an easy night when you work with him because it's so easy for I feel like I don't have to do as much to try and get the crowd to like me. They already hate Max so much that like half the work's already done. Well, no, honestly, and that's just a testament to how good of a heel Max is.
Absolutely.
I loved working with Max Sterling. I loved working with Dylan Mesh. That feud we had last year was Danny gave us full creative control on that, and I'm really happy with the story that we got to tell. Another one of, Wrestling Burger was he's someone I've wanted to wrestle for a very long time. He's someone I very much look up to. You know, there was a time where I was kind of on the outs with the Monster Factory, and Burger gave me a place to train. And also during the pandemic, he gave wrestlers like he was very responsible about it, but he gave like my gym was closed down, so he gave me a place to like lift weights and stuff. He's always been very kind and generous and included me in a lot of really cool things, opportunities that have happened at the dojo. Working with Ryan Mooney is another one. We had a 2 out of 3 falls match as our blow off match, and one of my that was one of my favorite matches because I think it's the longest match I ever wrestled. And I remember going up to Danny, I think the Sunday before that match, and I said, "Hey, Ryan and I are going to meet at the dojo. We're going to go over some stuff. How much time do you want us to account for?" And he went, 25. And I went, "Oh, word? Okay." Which I took as like, I took that as it was a test. I think that's what helped kind of elevate me was show me that you can be trusted with this kind of position with that amount of time, and prove to me that you can have this caliber of a match. And I remember the crowd kind of not being that into it, but it's not like we didn't try. I mean, we tried to get the crowd. It's just sometimes crowds are not as hot as you'd like them to be. But I remember halfway through the second fall, I hear Dan in the back going, "You guys are doing great." Which at first I was like, "What the fuck happened to Dan? Who replaced Dan?" Because he's never like he'll give you praise, but you really gotta like him saying that. That almost gave me like I was really nervous going into that match because like I'd had a sinus infection the week prior, so I was so worried about like my wind, like my cardio being up to snuff, and like also this is like the first time I've ever wrestled this long. The first time, but like working with Ryan, he's one of my favorite people to work with because our styles just mesh so well together, and you get to create this sort of chemistry that like a lot of times at the Monster Factory, in the position that I'm in now, a lot of the times I have to kind of lead the match, which I don't have a problem with. And a lot of these wrestlers are very competent, but just if you're the more experienced wrestler, like I'm technically the most senior member of that locker room. And I don't mean like in terms of age, but I mean like how long I've been at the Monster Factory. And I think how long I've been wrestling at the Monster Factory. I've been there the longest. Might not have been wrestling the longest, but I've been at the Monster Factory the longest. I guess I'm considered a vet there. So when you're able to work with someone who's kind of equally on your level or more experienced than you, then you don't have to worry so much about, is this person going to remember this spot? Are they going to be able to keep up? Am I calling too much? Like when you're leading a match, you're kind of essentially, I guess the phrase I like to use is you're eating for two, because you also have to take into account what that wrestler's skill level is, what they're able to do in the ring. Their skills might be very limited. They might not know as much as you. So your job as the vet is to make them look good. So I can't always break out all the stuff that I get to break out in matches because I have to account for that. So working with Ryan, I'm really proud of that match, and I'm really proud of the story that we told. And working with Nick Petit as well. That was we've had some matches that have been some of my favorites, and he's just we crack each other up all the time. I love Nick. So yeah, I would say those are some of my favorites. Long story short, too late.
I believe it. Well, you're also a musician. You sing, you play the guitar. So can you tell us about that experience? And is there any other instrument you happen to play, or?
So it's a cliche, but I've been singing since before I could talk. I think that kind of the go-to phrase for me. My parents got me the guitar in 6th grade, and they kind of nudged me towards it. It didn't take a lot of like nudging. They were just like, "Hey, I think this would be good for you to learn." And I started taking lessons, and I started doing live gigs only a few years ago, just because I found that like music's very therapeutic to me. Especially I'm on the spectrum. I have autism spectrum disorder, and sometimes it's hard to me to like express how I'm feeling emotion. Like I know what I'm feeling, but it's hard for me to express it to other people. And music kind of helps me do that. It's always been very therapeutic to me. And it's also just like a nice, like kind of like how like Jeff Hardy would be on Monday Night Raw, and then like he gets a gig in like in a bar that's like in the same town or a few towns over the next night. And I think that's kind of my goal with it. I don't want to pursue music the way I'm pursuing wrestling. I know it sounds cynical, but I can kind of learn to hate the wrestling business, and still like watching wrestling. I don't want to ever look at my guitar with like a tightness in my chest. Like I don't want to perform tonight, but I have to because I got to eat or whatever. Like, so it's just, I get paid decent money to play in bars every now and then. And it's just something I've always kind of been good at. I don't know how to play. I played keyboard a little bit, but I wasn't any good. I learned how to play chords on a piano. So yeah.
Nice.
Very interesting. So, who has been your favorite tag team partners over the years?
Favorite tag? I mean, my track record with tag partners has not been stellar. I don't know if you're my first tag partner technically second. So my first tag partner, if you call it that, was Bill Wiles. And then just that never really did amount to anything after that. And then my second tag partner, and probably I guess my favorite would be, well, no, I have two favorites. Because I used to tag with Jimmy the Jester. He was I guess my most recent tag partner. And yeah, and he would annoy the shit out of me but like in a lovable way. Like he was just so. I like to goof around, so for me to keep a straight face during some of the stuff that he would do, I'm surprised. I miss that fucking dude. Like he was fun. No, like seriously, he was so much fun. Sometimes you wouldn't know when to turn it off, which if you know me, it's kind of the pot calling the kettle black. But like if I'm saying it was a problem. I'd be like, yo, Jimmy, chill, please, for the love of God. But Travis Jacobs, I guess, would be my most. We were kind of just thrown together. I guess one of the reasons he was my favorite tag partner was I think he's also, I can't believe I left him out, as one of my favorite opponents. Because my favorite storylines in wrestling are always the ones that are the most emotional. So when we got to do that tag partner, like when he turned on me, and I think that's one of the more like relatable emotional storylines. Like they're always going to know what it's like to, maybe not everyone's going to know what it's like to win a championship,
Right.
But everyone can relate to, there was someone in their life that they loved or trusted or cared about that they felt screwed them over. I think so. I think it's an easy one to get people emotionally invested in. And also that's a trios. That doesn't count as tag. But tagging with the Body Snatchers was a very fun match. Fun fact about that show was, so you can see I'm wearing that shoulder sling. So originally, I think the plan that night was, it was going to be I defend my Supersonic belt earlier in the night, and then I think it was like we were all the Body Snatchers were going to have their respective match. And I don't know if I was going to be in the main event, and everything was just going to devolve into a 3-on-3 tag. But I had injured it wasn't like a terrible injury, but I wrestled at We Are One, I think 2 weeks before, and I went for a running European uppercut in the corner. So the Monster Factory ring is it's an 18 by 18 ring, and the ring that I was in was a 16 by 16. So I wasn't used to the timing. So usually you give it a nice sweep and you kind of just up like that. Well, I didn't time it right, and I went in like this, and it looked like I tried to shoulder in a door, and I felt and heard a crunch, and I went, uh-oh. And I sprained my AC joint on my shoulder, and my shoulder was still like, it was just fine. Like I just made the cutoff of like it, nothing bad happening to it, and like the timetable for healing and stuff. But I just didn't want to take any chances, so I think I asked Dan. I was like, "Hey, can we just make it a 6-person tag, just so I don't, I can, and I'm very happy with that match." And the body snatchers, I mean, Marvelous. I've wrestled Marvelous a few times, and I'd like to wrestle him a few more. I think he and I have some good chemistry. And DK, or God at Dad Bod, is just, I mean, he's just so much fun. He really, like, he is my sun and moon and stars, that man is. He really, he's one of my favorite fucking people at that place.
Right.
But
didn't Nick Petit have something to do with that shoulder injury?
Technically,
Or was that a different time? That was about the same time, right?
So we made it appear that he was in the reason for that shoulder injury, and not that I mistimed a European uppercut in the corner. I didn't realize. I didn't know if we were. Yeah, well, I mean, sure. I didn't know if we were shooting or not, brother. Damn, I didn't know what we were doing. I'm sorry. I thought. Yes, Nick was solely responsible for that.
Right.
So, is there any chance of you showing up at Turkey Slam on Saturday, November 16th at 4 p.m.?
Never say never.
Yeah.
Never say never.
Good answer.
Look, that loss at the Larry Sharp Memorial Cup kind of it's been taking some time to figure some stuff out. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Right.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
No need to panic.
Next question. No.
Well.
All right. Here it is.
I plead the fifth.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, fifth. F-I-F, fifth.
Oh my God.
I didn't realize I was going to bring out Chappelle Show reference, but here we are.
Here we are. Well, I don't want you to plead the fifth on this one, okay?
Okay.
So, since you've been at the Monster Factory for many, many moons, who would you put on your Mount Rushmore?
Of the
Mount
Monster
Rushmore
Factory.
Of the Monster Factory?
Yes,
Like greatest.
Please do not plead the fifth on this one.
Yeah.
Damian Priest, QT Marshall, LSG, and Goldie.
Very
Nice.
nice.
That's
A good
good.
mixture
Very
of
nice
different,
indeed.
couple different years in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at overall, and that's and like, and I'm probably gonna get flack because I probably chose that too quick. There's like so many people you could put on that. I mean, honorable mentions would be Royal Money. I think Royal Money, Getty Cahoon should. I think they were very they'd been a part of the Monster Factory. I mean, Mike Reed would be another one that you look at and you realize I mean, Mount Rushmore is hard for me because like I think there's so many people that are important to the factory, especially like certain moments in time that like they were just They were just a part of that. Like Nick Camarado. I mean, Mark Cruz and Shaheem Ali. There's so many great wrestlers that are a part of that place. But I guess in terms of I don't even know about. I mean, success is one thing, but I think just overall performers, it's those four with Royal Money as an honorable fifth because I don't want him to kill me. Love you, Royal. Anyway, yeah, like that. LSG was one of the people that, like, when I first started going to shows as a fan, Luis the Punisher Martinez, also known as Damian Priest, was my favorite wrestler at the Monster Factory. But then when I started training, and I thought QT, I knew QT was, I think QT is one of the best wrestlers today. I just don't think I don't think he always gets to show it because he's also a consummate professional, but he's really fucking good. And same with LSG. Like Goldie, I've sung his praises enough to him. He's he's getting he's getting the recognition. Like he's very, very good for some. Like I wish I had my shit together when I wish I had my shit together. I figured it out as quick as he did. Because he's someone who just gets it, man. And if he's not on like that WWE ID list, I will be shocked. And LSG is someone I very much look up to. Like he's and Goldie, actually all four of them. I would say they're on my dream match list, my bucket list of like guys I want to wrestle. Probably have a better chance of wrestling 3 out of the 4. But LSG was someone like you put him in the ring with anybody of any experience level, and he could get a great match out of them. And I want him to be on my TV more because he's another one that's just so fucking good, and he can do all kinds of styles. He can do lucha, he can do technical, he can do high flying. Like he's so good, and yeah, I'd say those were my Mount Rushmore.
It's a very good list.
Yes,
How many championships have you won throughout your career?
It's not about winning. Well, no,
Right.
no, I'm just joking. 2-time Supersonic champion, 1-time tag champion. Hopeful for a Monster Factory champion, but when the time's right. Yeah, so I won that. That one was WrestleMania week. We Been Here. That was the name of the show. And happy with that match too. I mean, the first time I won was a fatal 4-way where it was vacated because Mimi had beaten TJ for. Yep, right there. So Mimi had beaten TJ. They unified the women's and the Supersonic belt, and Mimi got signed. So they vacated the Supersonic belt and kind of dissolved the women's belt. And then there was like a tournament that wasn't really a tournament, but besides the point, I wrestled. It was a fatal 4-way with myself. It was Getty, Cahoon, La Chica, Clara Carreras, and Gabby Ortiz. And that was LSG and Mikey Webb were like that rivalry they had at the Monster Factory. That kind of made me want to be Supersonic champion because that's our workhorse title, right? That's where that whole heart and soul thing was. Like the wrestlers that I look up to have always been like Sami Zayn was the heart and soul of NXT, and then Johnny Gargano was another. He was the heart and soul of NXT, and like I always emulated those kinds of styles, and I think there was a time when the heavyweight champion wasn't always booked on the shows, so the Supersonic title was the one that was the main event. So like that was, and also I just thought at the time it seemed more attainable than being the main event. Kind of different now. Now that I've gained some more self-confidence, but I digress, to quote Taz. So I'm really happy with the runs I had with the Supersonic Championship. And hopefully those aren't the last titles I win.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I
hopefully
doubt
not.
it.
Right. So you have a alter ego with face paint. Tell us about that, and when did that start?
So that's that. I guess the alter ego. It's really just something I've wanted to do for a while. I was just never able to really flesh it out, and it's really just so Lucas Twitch DiSangro is me.
Mhm.
When I wrestle is me. When I wear the Spider-Man trunks and I wear the jacket with the patches and yeah, root for me. I'm a baby face. Don't make fun of me. And that me as a wrestler is just Peter Parker and Lip Gallagher if he had Tourette's and high functioning autism. So then there's Lucas Twitch Sangro, and then there's just Twitch. And I've always had this idea of wanting to have like a Jekyll and Hyde kind of thing. Like there's always going to be a little bit of Twitch with Lucas, but there's no Lucas when it comes to Twitch. But I never figured out how because I didn't want it to be like I didn't want it to be total like a Joker, right? Like I didn't want to go full Joker. You know how everyone when they do a crazy that lighting that bothered me. I thought it was going to look better without the light on, and I was wrong. Breaking kayfabe for you there. Everybody that does a crazy gimmick tries to be the Joker, and I like the Joker, but there's so many other psychos to pull from. But like I guess Twitch, right, is like I think it's like he's every impulse you've ever wanted to act on. He's every bad choice you've ever wanted to make. I guess he's like the manifestation, right? If we're gonna or the manifestation and personification of all the bad shit in my head. You know, the anxiety, the depression, self-loathing, self-doubt. He's like it's just like this. It's almost like it's like kind of Hulk, kind of Venom, kind of Jekyll and Hyde, and it's like I Catalyst Wrestling, which is another promotion I wrestle for. They kind of gave me an avenue to flesh it out, and I've been able to do it at the Monster Factory, and I kind of want it to be like. I guess the way like Finn Balor had his demon, right? He wouldn't always wrestle as the demon. He would save it for special occasions. But for me, I want to kind of do it even less frequently. I want it to be like, pushed too far kind of thing. Like you gotta take me to a really, really dark place for that to happen. And I will do everything in my power to stop that from happening because I don't like when that part of me comes out. So I got another reason I'm proud of the thing I had with Dylan Mesh was because I was finally able to bring that to the Monster Factory. And it's always something I had like that I wanted to have as a part of my character, just finding a way to bring it out and explain it better until it's just not just every other edgy gimmick with face paint, and tactical gear. So yeah.
That sounds awesome.
That does sound awesome. That sounds sick, dude.
So like it should be on YouTube, but Dylan and I had our street fight, and that's when I brought out the Twitch character, and that was it should be it's on YouTube. If you look up Twitch versus Mesh director's cut, because I spliced in, I had somebody, so we didn't have like the roaming cam, and the setup was different at the Monster Factory, so I had Milton Rodriguez. He also he does the Wrestle New Jersey account. I had him follow me with my phone and film my entrance. And then so I spliced that in and then some other footage that I had from that match that I just thought looked better. Or not looked better, but I thought was a better angle. I put that on YouTube. And check it out, please.
Definitely.
All right. You were featured and well deserved on Apple TV's Monster Factory documentary special. How was that
Oh, yeah.
experience for you, dude?
It was surreal. I would say it was definitely surreal. It was a lot of things, I think, in wrestling and just show business in general, right? Not that I'm experienced in all avenues of it. I just figured, I always say, like, nothing's ever a sure thing until it's like right in front of your face. And then when it's right in front of your face, be like a little skeptical, just a little. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm so thankful for being allowed to share my story with the world. The cool thing about it was, because I didn't know I just, if anything else, I don't know what I'm gonna, at the beginning it's like, I don't know what opportunities this is gonna get me. I don't know if this is gonna change my life, right? It did change my life, just, not in the sense of like, oh, I'm gonna be getting signed or music deal or whatever. Like, I was happy I got to share my story. And the amount of people that reached out to me afterwards, and said how much that me sharing my story inspired them or gave them hope, that meant a lot. And then the parents, on behalf of their kids that have anxiety and depression and autism, or maybe just a combination of all of that, like me, like the fact that they said how much that meant to them. And like, I still, to this day, people will come up to me and be like, "Hey, I really loved you on Monster Factory," and it's just nice to hear. Like that was a really cool experience, and because of that, I got to wrestle in a sold out ECW arena, like 1,200 people, which that's the big crowd I've ever wrestled in front of. Hopefully, not the biggest I'll ever wrestle in front of, but like that was pretty fucking cool. And like my parents were there. They got, and two of my best friends, they were there, got to see me wrestle. And I got to wrestle Crowbar, which was like, come on, dude. Like, that's, if I would have told like 13-year-old self this was going to happen, first thing he'd be like, "How'd you get into my room? Who the fuck are you?" And the second thing, he would be like, "There's no way." He'd be like, "Are we married to the facial hair?" And I'd be like, "It's a depression beard. Don't worry about it." And it's just,
Oh man.
So, is there any truth to you training Jason Kels and Lane Johnson to wrestle?
I was one of the people that trained them to wrestle. We had a lot of. I mean, I'm not going to take full responsibility like certain media outlets, NBC 10. That was. Look, I very much pushed the Inquirer interview as opposed to the NBC 10 one, which was like, that was just, man, you really tried to make it seem like I'm taking all the credit, which I wasn't. Not you, the news.
Right.
Yeah, man, that was fun. We essentially, it was most of the principal cast of Monster Factory, and then a few other. I think Chris Desmond, Christian Darling, but we had like the whole school there in like an open training thing. But then we cleared the room, taught Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson how to wrestle, how to throw a clothesline, body slam, back elbow. I cut a promo in front of him. That was cool. And then I think Danny Cage and I, we helped Jason Kelsey come up with a promo. And I think it was Missy Sampson and Nick Batty helped Lane Johnson come up with his promo, because they cut a promo on each other afterwards. And it was a fun thing. But like, yeah, because they didn't know what they were going to be doing at WrestleMania. They just knew that they were going to do something. So, I mean, like, it was all like, Jason Kelsey is everything that you expect him to be. He's so genuine, down to earth. And Lane Johnson was just kind of quiet, but he was also very nice and very generous with his time. And like, yeah, that was that whole week, man. That was my first WrestleMania week. Hopefully not the last, but that was so cool, man. Like that week was like, that's one of those things, like, knock on wood. If I had to stop wrestling tomorrow, I look back at my career and I did some pretty cool shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you did. Pretty big moment.
That's awesome. Go Birds.
Go,
Go
Birds.
Birds.
All right. We're at that part of the show.
Oh boy.
We ask all our guests this question. Past, present, future. Your dream matchup. Dream situation. Where, who's getting over, and your opponent, and why?
Past. I think because he just retired, so I'm gonna get 3 of my dream matches out of the way. Past, Bryan Danielson, Hammerstein Ballroom, Pure Rules match. Danielson up, obviously, because he's the best fucking wrestler in the world, and I modeled so much of my style after him.
Nice.
Like my 5 favorite. Danielson will go down as one of the greatest of all time. I feel like the amount of people that in his generation, even that he influenced, and his career just like this guy overcame so many obstacles, and just he was someone who was never supposed to be a national TV wrestler, and he's just like, I know Punk was. We talked a lot about Punk in the docuseries about him being one of my favorite wrestlers, and he saved my life. But Danielson, I think, is just as much a part of that journey of like, I would not be the wrestler I am today without Danny Cage, CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, and Jeff Hardy. Wouldn't be the wrestler I am today without those people. So Bryan Danielson, Hammerstein Ballroom, Pure Rules. Danielson's up. Present, CM Punk, WrestleMania, Punk's up. I don't give a fuck about going up or not. Like, that would be that. I mean, the story we could build to that so well. And he's my favorite wrestler, and he's somebody that I look up to a lot as well. And in future, so who constitutes as future? Like people that I'm coming up with now, like who are on the indies, like.
Well, it was pretty much like past, present, future, like alive, here, now, either one.
Okay,
but
so
if
then
there's someone
future.
In the future you would like, I mean, we could go that way too.
Future, because there's so many future ones. Shit. You know what? Jonathan Gresham. Jonathan Gresham is somebody I've wanted to wrestle for a very long time. He's so fucking good. Jonathan Gresham, 2 out of 3 falls match.
Ooh.
Nice.
And I'm not gonna say who's up or who's not, because that would just be so. You know who wins? Me. Not in terms of winning the match, just the fact that I'm winning at life. If I got to wrestle any of those guys. Yeah, no, Octopus over. Octopus over. I'm doing the job. I'm doing the honors for all of them, baby. Yeah, who the fuck books himself to win?
Well, we have in the comments here, Jason says he's the future.
Yeah, sure you are, a slugger. Anyway. I'm kidding. Love you, Jason. Well, I'm not kidding, but you know.
He joined the Monster Factory today. He's coming for you.
Yeah. Well, we all make mistakes. Anyway.
Moving on. That's a good one. You have any plugs or upcoming bookings?
Yes. I mean, well, first of all, whether or not I'm going to be there, regardless, go see Turkey Slam this Saturday at the Monster Factory, 4 p.m. bell time. It's our biggest show of the year, and the students work their asses off, and we put on a phenomenal show. And also check out the TRL the night before. But announced already, it's Mike Z versus Max Sterling. So go there and boo the shit out of Max for me, please. Um, Christian Darling versus Preston Vance. Christian, do me proud, buddy. You know, don't you know, you had that title for a reason. You're holding the heart and soul of the Monster Fact. I'm butchering this. You know what I mean. Good luck. Have fun. Be safe. I crapped out midway through the inspirational speech. Oh, what a shitty football coach I'd be. Imagine Al Pacino on any given Sunday be like, I don't think we got it, guys. I'm sorry. It's about winning and losing a game. You know what the fuck I'm saying. Let's just go out there, finish the game. Hooah. November 23rd, I'm wrestling in Milford Township at ISPW. December 14th, I'm wrestling at 1CW in Houston, Delaware. And December 21st, I'm wrestling in the Neshaminy Creek Brewing in Croydon, Pennsylvania for Sean Henderson Presents. I'm in a scramble match that just got announced. It's myself. Yep, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right down, that's a stone's throw away from my neck of the woods. So it's essentially it's hometown crowd for me. And then December 27th, I haven't put up any actual details yet, but December 27th, if you want to see me perform music, I'm going to be performing at Odd Logic Brewing in Bristol from 7 to 10 p.m. So, the week, 2 days after Christmas, let's play some music, end the year out fun. And that's my plugs. I mean, you can follow me on. So I'm so bad at this. You can follow me. You can follow me on Instagram at Lucas Twitch DiSangro. You can follow me on Twitter or X or whatever the hell you want to call it, at Lucas Twitch 318, because apparently Lucas Twitch DiSangro was just too long of a name. You can go to prowrestlingtees.com / Mr. Fanspastic. You can get some t-shirts, and yeah, that's all. I mean, also, yeah, watch Monster Factory on Apple TV. And even if you have, watch it again. It's a great show.
Yes, it is. I'll put the link to your Pro Wrestling Tees in the comments on Facebook.
We got Joe say you also got a tag team battle royal this Saturday.
Yes. So, the winners of that tag team battle royal faced Travis Jacobs and Mimi for the tag titles. And also the Turkey Slam Rumble winner gets a shot at the Monster Factory Championship. Anytime, any place, anywhere. You never know who's going to show up.
Right.
Yeah.
Danny's good for that.
Oh, he is very good for that.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, we put on a great show, and the atmosphere at the Monster Factory is it's unlike so many other indies. Like it really is. It's a whole nother world, in the best way possible. So
Nice.
Yeah.
So, any final questions?
There's one from Joe. Said, "Who's your inspiration in the music biz?"
I don't know if I would say it. I'd say I have more influences than inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's certain artists that I hold closer to my heart than others. The Lumineers, they got me through a lot of shit. Bon Iver, he's one of my favorite. I listen to all kinds of music, but like I guess it's gonna sound so pretentious, but like I guess indie, like folk kind of music, like anything essentially that tells a good story and then also uses instruments is
Okay.
a plus. I like, I like Mumford and Sons a lot. It's I feel like I should be wearing a fedora. It just sounds so I don't know why I'm so like embarrassed to admit it, because it is good music. It's just I think a lot of people that listen to that kind of music, like there's a stereotype about the people who listen to Mumford and Sons and the Lumineers of like, oh, you're gonna wear your fedora, go drink your craft beer, you fucking hipster. All right. And I don't like those people either, but it's not my fault that they make good music. All right. It's
All right.
not my fault that they're dressed like the bartender from Red Dead Redemption and they play a hell of a banjo. Okay. It's not my fault. It's good. That was so unnecessary. I'm sorry.
Oh, good.
I got a question that popped in my head. Since you do play
Okay.
music and all at the bars, but if you happen to get into a bar fight, who at the Monster Factory would you want there to have your back?
Good question, Willie Tiny.
Can this be? So is this like any Monster Factory person ever, or just currently?
Anybody.
And can anybody?
Anybody from the Monster Factory?
Okay, coming to mind, Damian Priest, Riddle, Nick Camarado. I think Royal Money. Those four off the top of my head are like, first of all, legit, like bad motherfuckers. All four of them.
Yes.
They all deserve the Samuel L. Jackson wallet from Pulp Fiction. They all deserve that. I think if we were going to go currently, probably Nevaeh Madonna, because she knows jiu-jitsu. She could fuck some people up. I'm just basing it off of who has legit experience, because I do not. I am, if we're going to put it in Dungeons and Dragons version, I'm the fucking bard. All right. I'm going to do a nice little, I'm the bard. You think if you thought there's a reason I became a pro wrestler. I don't know how to fight. I mean, I could probably scroll tactics my way into a knockout or two, but I'm not going to promise anything.
Right.
So yeah, like, yeah, like that. Those would be.
I think TJ or Bobby Buffet would be good having your corner too.
Yeah, no, because here's the thing is, and I'm saying this not that I would never fuck with them physically, but they also are just big teddy bears. Like, they're vicious in the ring, but they're just big fucking goofballs. Bobby's just the Pillsbury Doughboy. He really is. Like, in terms of just demeanor and just all around, like, he just want to. I say that with peace and love. Like, he really just such a giggly boy, and I love him. But yeah, probably. I mean, I've never seen them angry. Probably because I know how to not see them angry.
Good strategy.
Yeah,
good
I mean,
strategy.
be a likable human, or attempt to be a likable human being, and it'll get you places. You know.
Yeah.
Sometimes me trying to be like turns me into being unlikable, and that's a whole different story. Do you guys hate me? I feel like you hate me. I'm so sorry. I'll leave.
No, not at all.
No,
Not
not
at all.
you. I'm just fucking hypothetical.
In general, yeah. I got
Yeah.
2 more photos.
Yes. Yeah, that was cool.
Yes.
That meant a lot. That was at a CFFC event, which is Cage Fury Fighting Championships, and there's a MMA fighter. Well, it was like a spin-off company, or I guess it's called Fury Grappling, it's just submission wrestling.
Nice.
and grappling and jiu-jitsu. There's a MMA fighter by the name of Pat Sabatini that our parents grew up together, and Pat heard my story. This is how it was phrased to me. It was Christmas morning. There's tickets to this Fury grappling event at the 2300 Arena. My mom says, Pat Sabatini, he fights for CFFC. He heard your story. He wants to meet you. That's how it was framed to me. Little did I know, Pat's manager is the CEO of CFFC, and CM Punk does commentary for CFFC because they are on UFC Fight Pass. And this is what I didn't know, was that Pat's manager owns the company, and Punk loves Pat. Like, so apparently my parents and his parents concocted a little scheme, got me to the arena, and Punk was there. And I knew Punk was going to be there because I knew that I remember I used to be on a wrestling radio show, and I remember there being a story of him signing a deal with CFFC. So that name rang a bell. And I knew he was going to be there. But again, I'm like, all right, that's cool. Maybe I'll get to say something to him. Not knowing that the entire time the plan was for me to meet Punk. Because we get there, we have VIP tickets, and Punk's like, if this is my table, the commentary booth is right there. So like, I'm making eye contact with Punk. Not the entire. I'm not like aggressively. It's not like that meme from The Boys where everyone's putting forward and then Billy the Butcher's just looking up at Homelander. It wasn't like that. But like, before the show starts, Pat's manager comes up, and I'm thinking, why would Pat want to see me before he goes and fights? I figured I would see him after, right? Figured you're in your mind's, you're in a different headspace. You're getting ready for a fight, and he comes up to me, and he goes, "Are you Lucas?" And I went, "Yeah." He goes, "You a fan of CM Punk by any chance?" And I was wearing my Punk hoodie, so I kind of just looked down at the logo, and I was like, "I dabbled, yeah, sure." He's kind of the reason I became a wrestler. And he goes, "How would you like to meet him?" And I went, "What's up?" Were my exact words. I went, "Excuse me?" And I look up at the ramp, and Punk's standing there. And I got to go up and talk to him a little bit. That was fucking cool. He was so. It didn't feel like, because the interaction was so. It felt genuine. Like, it didn't feel like he was doing somebody a favor. Like, it seemed like a really, like, he was genuinely stoked to get to do this and like talk to me, and that meant a lot. That meant a lot, and that was December of 2022, and the docuseries came out in March. So he hadn't seen the series yet. I still don't know if he has. Hopefully, next time he's at because he still does commentary for CFFC. So next time they're at the arena, maybe I'll run into him again. You never know.
Right.
Yeah, I believe he also does commentary for bare knuckle fights. Also,
Bare knuckle. I'm not sure. I wouldn't know. I just my knowledge of the UFC and or offshoots of the UFC is limited.
right.
Unless we're talking about Mirko Cro Cop and Pride, which is like in 2006. So that's the only other time it's like I'll just watch that entire run he did in the tournament. That's about it.
He's ready to take this home.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
This is the Three Wheels of Wrestling podcast.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the Three Wheels of Wrestling podcast. Thank you, Twitch, for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you,
me. It
Twitch.
was a lot of fun.
Right.
Don't
You
forget to
have-
like, comment, and subscribe. You don't have to go anywhere, Twitch.
We're just going to end this.
All right then.